we got to really get to the bottom of this Caillin Clark story and what would you do. WNBA is right there. Indiana Fever, number one pick in May. And then this new Big 3 $5 million offer, which begins in June. Look, I get it. Money means a lot.
Never confirmed it, but he goes, the number that's out there, I ain't denying it.
Yeah, but don't you think there's also more clout
in
playing professional basketball as opposed to playing in a Big 3 at a bunch of retired former professionals?
Men?
I'm just saying it
testing
seems
her
to be,
skill set against.
Well, look, Iowa Sam's got some issues with it. I want to explore it, take your phone calls and feedback. Rich is saying the choice is easy. $5 million to play in the Big 3.
Yeah, I love how you guys. All right, Monty.
You can do both.
Let's make the same let's pick the same salaries as Caillin Clark. $75,000 to do a job, or $5 million to do a job.
I don't think it's black and white like that.
I agree. Is it $5 million over 10 weeks though?
If it's $5 million for 1 year,
that's a 10-week season, right?
10-week tournament, 2 conflicting games.
Yeah, that's workable.
Workable if both leagues are willing to share her in that way. I don't have the details on that yet.
And you keep talking
about
if
you're a big enough star, which she is, people make exceptions.
You keep talking about keep talking about credibility. The WNBA is around because the NBA continues to financially support it,
subsidize. Yeah.
Viewership wise, this is shocking.
Yeah, this did shock me.
Shocking. The WNBA finals last year peaked at roughly 700,000 viewers, which is actually up 30%. Congrats to the WNBA. The last time they had the Big 3 finals had 690,000, essentially the same number.
The same,
a little under 1 million viewership. So I don't think one has more clout than the other.
I do, because one is professionals.
And one's sort of a novelty, even though they do good ratings.
Yeah, one is retired professionals. They're not professionals. And one means so much more to women's sports than the other. And that's what she's the face of. So, like Monty said,
did you say women's sports?
Yes.
Do you mean
it's a little less black and white than $5 million versus $75,000? I think there's a lot of pressure on her to be that person, and she could change that league.
Do you think the Big 3, who I believe has multiple WNBA Hall of Famers coaching and being part of the Big 3, so women are also involved in the Big 3.
But have they played? Have they played yet in the Big 3?
No, they coach.
So this is one of my huge issues. What is the product going to look like? Because women's.
Are you happy with the product of the WNBA?
Well, okay. Here's a couple of things. In women's basketball, they use a slightly smaller ball. She's going to have to use, I think, at least a ball that's designed for the men's game. Whether it's Big 3 uses a different ball, or it's the WNBA or the NBA ball, or college men's basketball ball.
You make adjustments. I was saying, if you told me,
it's something to think about.
If you told me make 10 times my salary,
right,
and I would have to do the show in Spanish, I'd learn Spanish.
Could this hurt her product though? What if she goes out there and she's getting manhandled and she's getting by older dudes and she can't get a shot off and she has 3 points a game or
ruins
6
her
points.
image a little bit.
Her product's going to suffer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so yes, she could take the $5 million, but if she's looking at it long term, she's still going to make endorsements in the WNBA. She'll be on the Olympic team at some point.
I have a daughter.
I have a lot of reservations about this.
Is it unnecessary wear and tear as well if she's doing both? Right?
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you this. I have a daughter. I coach female girl sports. I coach a bunch of 6 and 7-year-old t-ball, and it's not going to end. So I'm going to be coaching female sports a lot of my life. I support women's sports.
Absolutely.
But you know what puts women's sports on the map on a higher level even? When they involve the stars in the men's league to endorse it. Ionescu, when she went up against Steph Curry in that 3-point shootout, that was awesome. It made me be like, she's awesome.
It was a non-contact
He's a current
event.
4-time champ.
You're also, I think, trying to make a parallel with what the Big 3 league is, and it's not.
It's a little corny. I know. Amatsi agreed there. And by the way, I was saying, what did you say? Ionescu what?
She went up against a 4-time current guy. A guy's in the NBA still and a 4-time champ in Steph Curry.
And it was a non-contact event.
Yeah, it was just a skills competition.
But you don't think that was awesome, though?
It was awesome.
It was. And so I like the idea of Caillin Clark competing in some of these NBA All-Star Weekend events. But I just wonder, if they could do like a secret scrimmage, like some of these colleges, they'll do like secret scrimmages
And see how it goes.
and see how she can.
That's
And these
it.
guys tell them to go balls out, balls to the wall, and just play normally like you would against anybody else. If she can score 15 a game
Then do
against
it,
these
yeah.
dudes, do it.
You don't want to put
Absolutely.
your. Yeah, I agree.
But
Don't
her
put
product could suffer if
don't-
it doesn't work out.
I think that's a really good point. I
Don't
really
put
do.
yourself in a position to be made a fool of.
Yes.
That's a great point. That's the one point I'll back you up on. Other than that, I think that Caillin Clark should be making money, and she is big. In my opinion, right now, she is bigger than the WNBA.
Yeah, but she's going to make money. It's not just going to come from the
That's true.
WNBA. She's going to make her money.
And so you look at the finals numbers, the ratings, and the Big 3 championship. She's going to add, I don't know, 500,000 to 1 million to 2-3 million people more to one of those, or both, but one of them. One of them's going to benefit the most.
I feel like she would score, though, in the Big 3. I've watched it, not a ton, but enough to know what it's like. And I watched the championship. There's a lot of mixing it up under the hoop, but they also kick out to an open shooter. So she's not going to be able to mix it up with a big guy underneath the basket, but she could get that open shot. So as long as she drains her shots, she's not going to make 3 points a game.
By the way, these are what we call great problems to have, right?
Yeah.
People want her. People want to pay her. It's a great situation she finds herself in, although stressful, and she's got other games going on right now.
And I'm sure Ice Cube would share her with the WNBA if she said, okay, here's what I want.
Here's what I'm willing to do.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what, Rich? When you're at that level, you could call the shots.
And when
Here's
you-
what I'm willing to do, guys.
When you compare talent levels, you could argue that the best female college basketball player in the world, who everyone loves, could compete with a little bit of a washed NBA player. The analogy would be Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, right? Like,
That is actually very paralleled right there.
I mean,
It goes
like,
back
if
to what
you tell-
Sam
if you tell
said,
me
if he
some-
knocks out Mike Tyson,
tell me-
it ruins the image we have
but
of
I'm saying,
Mike Tyson.
yeah, but what I'm saying, if you have like Big Baby Davis, or I don't know, even no offense to our pal Ryan Hollins, some guy that played in the NBA a while back, if he's a little sluggish but still having fun playing, and Caitlin Clark, puts
She's
up
6
15,
foot, though. Is she going to be able to shoot? A guy comes up to defend her one-on-one. Is he going to just block her shot every time? Like Ryan Hollins, well, it wouldn't be Ryan Hollins, but he's like 7 foot.
She's quick, though,
She's
with the
6'5".
basketball.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Some of these older guys are lumbering around the court.
Seems like
She'd
you-
dribble
joints are
right
stiff.
around him.
Wow, it's really odd. You guys seem intrigued as what would happen.
Yeah.
It's almost like you would watch a Big
So
3 game.
nobody's
The interest is
disagreeing
there.
with us wanting to see her go do that. It's more like I don't think it's that easy of an answer.
We have reservations
or easy
about
of a decision. I think she's got
Know
a
what I
lot to
think?
think about.
Know what I want to see? I want to see Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and some of these dominant young women take on dudes that think they could always beat a woman in sports.
Mm-hmm.
That should
Like,
be like a traveling circus.
Like YMCA guy?
Like,
that would I would love to watch.
like guy at the gym that thinks no woman could ever beat him in something.
Guy who dunks at YMCA gym?
That is who I want to see. All right, let's go to the phones. Danny, who's on line one?
Let's go to Brett in Florida.
What's
Hey,
up, Brett?
Hey, what's up, guys? CNR, you guys are my favorite drive time show.
Thank
I
you,
just
man.
wanted to add to the conversation a little bit.
Thank
So hell yeah, of course. Just to kind of keep it going, I think you were starting to get onto something, especially with that Big 3. Like as a casual basketball fan, I barely watch it when it's on here and there on Hulu. The distribution's not great, but you get Caitlin Clark in there, you start putting some money behind it, and now you're talking about some real traction where they can start to come up and compete and maybe, have a league for some of these old heads, have a league for some of these people who didn't quite make it. Secondarily, honestly, Caitlin Clark is the whole reason that I've even started watching women's basketball in the first place. So it's like you put her in front of people and they're going to come out and watch.
Let me compare it to wrestling for a second.
He's absolutely right.
Every time over the years, like a new wrestling federation or they're trying to mix it up, you got to get the big name. Get the big name.
That's how the WWF became a thing. Getting
Right?
Hulk Hogan.
Get the big
You had
name.
to get Hulk Hogan.
Right? I mean, that's
There
how.
was other wrestling organizations around the time.
Yeah, this guy, what he said was on point, made me think it's like, I want, not in a bad way, but like, does Ice Cube and the Big 3 League really have her best interests at heart? Or is it, we got this is good for us?
That's how it feels to me.
That's how it feels to me as well.
And that's why I think the WNBA means more.
Yes.
For women, women's sports, for her legacy, all those things. Not being exposed by retired
yeah.
old athletes. That's not good.
Well, we interviewed Ice Cube on the network when this league first started. I think he did have some pure intentions going into it.
That's good. That's nice to know. That.
Yeah, as far as giving a platform to players who
And
didn't
women.
make it, or yes, exactly, or were at the end of their career or done with their career. So I don't think it's all hype with him in that league.
And I'm not saying it in a bad way that that he wants her to fail. That's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
But that
He's offering $5 million.
right.
So
that
that's
he's
capitalism,
thinking long-term goal for his Big 3 league.
Of course.
Yeah.
Not necessarily let's
Because as everybody has said around here, they don't watch the Big 3 that much, or they
and
haven't
how long
watched
has it been out?
This is going to be the 7th season.
2017.
7th season. So you know what I mean? That he has to have interest in more
That's
of his
why they
company
need a
than it
big
is.
star.
You know what the commonality is? I don't watch either. And I would watch either when Caillin Clark makes her debut.
Yeah.
Which shows you she will be appointment watching the same way I was saying the other
Same.
night. We were watching,
Same.
on a weeknight, you're watching Iowa on a, Monday night play college hoops.
Can I tie this into something? Danny
No.
brought this up. So per game, these Big 3 guys are making $10,000 a game, right? So you're going to offer her $5 million, and maybe even the NBA is like, hey, we're going to pay you a little more for your WNBA salary. I don't want there to be resentment.
That's another one.
I don't want there to be resentment from the Big 3 guys. I don't want there to be resentment towards her with WNBA players, because Monday night,
People get it.
a lot of
do I
people
resent Dan Patrick?
her a villain.
That's
a lot
not
of
the
people
same.
don't
Shut
like
up.
Caillin Clark now. They think
It is.
she's a
We do
villain.
the same thing. He's just better. He's
Not
just bigger.
And they thought the refs were in her pocket this past Monday night because there was such a disparity in free throws. So you don't want there to be this Caillin Clark bias following her around in her career.
More phone calls, more feedback. Caillin Clark, $5 million for the Big 3. About 75,000 to play in the WNBA.
What if she
I'm
falls?
sure they
what if
would
she
give her
falls?
more,
What if she
though.
falls in love with one of her teammates?
How do you feel about this?
Like all of a sudden, it's like new power couple, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
I really do think that they'll make it
Caillin
work,
Clark.
and she's a big enough star to make that happen. So she misses 2 games for the WNBA. There's 2
Whoopity-doo.
conflicting dates. She's playing for both teams.
Well, I don't know. NBA
'Cause she's
players
not gonna
never
turn
miss
down
games.
the $5 million. Yeah, exactly, right? No, you're right.
It's the opposite of load management. She's got way too much on her plate. She has to rest.
She's got a lot on
She's
her
got to go
plate.
play in another league. That's
She
all.
does both. She does both. That's the way I see it breaking down in the future. And we're going to wrap it with your phone calls now. Let's do a little rapid fire. 877-99 on Fox.
Who we got?
We got another Brett, this time in Nevada.
Hey, Brett.
What's up, Brett?
Hey, guys. Long-time listener. I think your show's great.
Thanks, brother.
So just a comment on this. I personally think Caillin Clark can do whatever she wants to do. But with regards to the WNBA, I can tell you on a high-level, corporate level, this kind of stuff is done all the time. I'm a physician out here in Nevada, and when we hire people and they have the option of doing, moonlighting or working somewhere else, we offer X salary, if you're going to moonlight, and then we offer a certain salary as you're going to be here exclusive for us. So I think if the WNBA doesn't want her to do it, really, this happens all the time. They just need to kick in.
Yeah, I mean,
It
listen,
is a job. We have to keep that in mind. And it's like boxing. It's to compare it to fighting, Rich. It's why you don't get certain fights. Certain boxers will be like, wait, you want me to take on this dude for how much money? No. I'm going to take on this weaker opponent and make just about as much money, if not more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's why you don't get some of the fights that you want to see, because the money's not worth the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it comes down to here. It's still a job at the end of the day, at the beginning and middle of the day.
the whole day.
The whole day, it's still a job. So
Yeah.
you could see her saying, well, I'm going where they're paying me the most because this is my livelihood. It makes sense.
And athletes.
It does make sense. I just think it means more for women
and
to be in the WNBA.
listen, NBA, WNBA, most,
it
most
doesn't
athletes.
I really feel like it doesn't matter what you think as a man. I feel like it matters what do women want, because she's a big-time hero, not just for guys like Iowa Sam and people in Iowa and just as a sports fan, but for women especially. She could be the face of women's sports. I don't think she could be that playing in the Big 3. I don't.
Hey, Rich.
I don't think that means diddly squat to women.
This is what Steve thinks of you.
It doesn't matter what you think.
No, you ask
I'm
any
kidding.
woman though. Hold on, ready?
you're
All
right.
You
You're
ask any woman out there, they're like, yeah, I'm familiar with the WNBA. Ask them about the Big 3. They're not going to know jack squat about it.
You ask any woman, I don't think
Not
she
you,
watches
Monty.
either.
Monty, you're an exception.
No,
You know?
I understand what
This
you're
is
saying.
your this is
I
your
100%
livelihood.
understand what you're saying.
Dana G, who else we got?
All right, let's go to Roger in Tacoma.
Roger, what's up, man?
Roger Dodger.
What's up, guys?
What up, buddy?
So someone stole a little bit of my thunder, but it's not a small point, so I'll make it anyway. The bigger ball makes a difference. She shot at probably played with the smaller ball most of her career. Just that 1 inch bigger, not only in the handles, but in the shot and in the range and everything else. And I just kind of wonder how. I'm wondering if she would, how much she would buy into that, because she would probably have to start to shoot with a bigger ball, and I just wonder how much that would affect her performance. Because she's used to playing with a smaller ball.
Yeah, listen, dude,
I bet you Ice Cube would adjust the size of the basketball to get a star of her size.
I just know that we're all looking at this in really nice ways, right? Like, what's good for women's sports and kids and everyone.
These are all factors.
But the number one factor of all factors in your job, anyone listening, your job, how much you paying me? Are you paying me a lot? $70,000 versus $5 million is not like, well, one company offered me $100,000, the other one offered me $120,000. This is $70,000, which is a non-livable wage in a lot of big cities, versus $5 million.
That's why do you think Pulisic goes to play in Europe instead of the MLS?
Why do you think what's-her-face was over in Russia and got captive in the first place?
Because they got that.
Brittany Griner.
Brittany
They
Griner.
got that Russian oil money.
You know why? Because she had to play in the offseason because they don't pay these women enough. You don't think Brittany Griner would have took $5 million?
But again,
Not
she's
been in a
going to
Russian
make
money
money elsewhere, not just in the WNBA.
No, Monty, but don't tell me that
No,
still $5 million is not a lot.
No, it's
Monty, you work your ass off. You're a host, an anchor. You work for the Dodgers. You do all this stuff. Wouldn't you like to have one job?
Yes,
Everybody
I just
would love
think
just have a 9 to 5 punch in, punch out.
She is not this. Her situation is not black and white.
Yeah, she's too important.
There's
too
a lot
important
on
for
her
women.
shoulders.
She's way important.
That's true.
She's way important, and that's why they're dishing up this money. And this is why
I have a hard time relating. I'm not that important.
No. I think this is when you
I
get
don't
the
think
backing.
any of us understand.
Yeah.
The backing of the NBA is going to be a huge part of the story, I think.
Yep.
The NBA is not going to lose her being the face of women's sports for the WNBA.
I'll give you a great analogy, and we'll take the last phone calls and move along. How many times have you seen in entertainment where a hot actor or actress is probably tempted to do a real garbage movie because they're being offered a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 10 mil to do this movie, and the script is trash.
Matt Damon doing that movie in China with the wall, and he's like archer or something. He got paid a boatload for that. I'll look it up.
It takes real business sense and willpower to say, I'm turning it down.
Yeah.
For the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that might be
The
turning
Great Wall.
down the big three. All right, who do we got, Dan?
Rapid fire on the last two calls here. Justin in Missouri.
What's
Hey,
up,
Justin.
Hey, guys. Love the show. How we doing?
We're good, man. What's up? Thank you.
Good. This is my point of view. From a money standpoint, I just looked it up, and I had no idea because I don't watch much women's sports, but I will say I have watched quite a bit of Caillin Clark this year. Highest WNBA player made $250K last year. And it's not like she'll play it forever, so why not just make $5 million and go back to the league?
I mean, that's my selfish
The average
mindset.
is 75K.
The average is 75. Yeah, 250
She'd be
was
on the
more than I
higher
thought.
end of that.
Yeah.
That's my mindset. You could say selfish, but $5 million, like I told you, $75,000. You'd have to work over 60 years to make $5 million at that rate. I know she's not making $75 a year, but still. All right, last one.
All right, let's wrap things up with Mel in Maryland.
What up, Mel?
Hey guys, hey, if you guys remember when the Big 3 came along, do you remember that NBA was trying to knock them down and try to make it so hard for them?
Yeah.
I think this is definitely a slight against them. They don't want to pay her $5 million, but what the NBA is going to have to up their ante and start paying these women more money because of this, because they're not going to let her go, just walk away. And they definitely don't want to lose to the Big 3.
Yeah. Hell
point.
no do they want to lose to the Big 3. I see. And again, what's the exclusivity they're going to want? I don't know that yet. So it's an interesting story. What would you do